Alright, we're going to talk about, these are called binomials, but we're going to start by not introducing anything other than deriving this. What rule would we apply to derive this? Chain rule. We could let u equal 2x plus 6, du dx equals 2. Y equals u to the power of 4, dy du equals 4u to the power of 3, correct? We'd multiply those two together, get a new pen, because this one's trash. And we would see that dy dx equals 2 times 4 times u to the power of 3, which is 8, 2x plus 6 to the power of 3, correct? The summary of what I've done, if you were good enough, some of you might use the shortcut for that, but shortcuts are for those who know the way, so make sure you know the way. I've taken the power down the front and multiplied by the root of the thing inside the bracket. Does that make sense? Now logically, given what we've been doing for the last couple of weeks, or last week, the next thing we're going to then do is undo that process. So we're very familiar with deriving, we're a little bit less certain with the integration. So if we derive that, sorry, I wanted this to be the case. No, did I want, no, I wanted that, okay. I wanted that 3. If I want to undo this process, what am I expecting this will equal? So what was the old chain rule? The old chain rule was take the power at the front. Take the derivative of the thing inside the bracket at the front. So what's this going to be? What's the new power going to be? Let's start with that. Is the power going to stay as 3? It's going to become what? Is the thing inside the bracket going to change or stay the same? Stay the same, correct? Now I had this divide A, I'll just leave that there for now. No, I didn't want to do that. I wanted the A at the top. I am an idiot. That's too far in front of us. That's good, it's on camera, it's recorded now. That's what I wanted to do. So I'm going to leave that A at the front. I'll let that process for a bit. When I derived that, I got this correct. So anti-deriving, what would I expect to get? The same result. So how do I get rid of this A? What's going to happen? I'm going to divide by what? Yeah, but how? Derivative of the inside, which is? 2 times the new power. Cool? Does that make sense? Despite my horrible start to the question. Yeah. If I'd kept that, it would have been over 64. But thankfully I didn't. I need to then make a rule for deriving, for integrating this. So let's go through and make a rule. I'll give you 5 seconds to try and think about what the rule might look like. Start with the thing inside the bracket maybe. What's going to happen to the thing inside the bracket? Is it going to change? Is it going to stay the same? Page, is it going to stay the same or change? The thing inside the bracket. Why? Just yes, 50-50. Mackenzie, what do you reckon? Are going to stay the same? I agree with you. Because if we look at all our examples, they've all got the same bracket, don't they? It doesn't matter what I did. They've all got the same 2x plus 6. What about the power? What happened to the power? I added 1. So where it was n, it now becomes n plus 1. Correct? Okay. Where'd the 2 come from? The derivative of the thing inside the bracket, which happens to be 2. What letter signifies the 2 in this? A. And then what do we do between the A and the new power? Multiply them. Does that seem like a good rule? Yes. What have I forgotten? Yes.
What is times
or because it's the new power. So whatever the new power is. Cool?
Yeah.
I just make that rule because of.
Yeah.
Now, that works for all of those except for this one. Doesn't matter what the number is, I can make that 4, doesn't matter. What's that going to equal? What's the power? -1, correct? So if it was -2, so that works, still works. Why doesn't it work for -1? So what do we do normally if we're integrating 1 over x? What does it become? What derivative gives us 1 on x? It's a special rule. Natural log, correct? So wouldn't it make sense that if we're integrating 1 on x, we're going to get ln x, correct? So in this case, what are we going to get? It's going to be natural log ln. So it'll be 4 ln. What do we think is going to replace? In all these rules, is the thing inside the bracket change? So that's going to stay there, isn't it? It's going to be ax plus b. Am I done? What do you reckon? Divide by? Make sense or not?
Yeah.
Same as this rule. It's just because we're dealing with the -1, we have to make it a natural log.
Why are you dealing with the -1?
Because the power here, what's the power if it's just 1 on?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. And because if we add 1 to the power, it won't work. It's going to give us 0, which we know we can't do.
Yeah.
So that tells you, well, we've got another rule. It must be something different. That's the one there. But this will work. Like this would work if this was that squared or cubed or a square root of all that. That would work. The only one it doesn't work for is negative power of -1. Cool.
And that's why you put ln.
Yeah. So these are the rules. Each one of those scenarios. Yeah.
And that's a statement. You put up a plus here.
I did. I was hoping that someone would pull me up for that.
So I did.
Well, if you don't do an EP, comes up with a big fat cross. I like that actually. I actually really like that about that because it means that you can't forget. You have to do it all the time, which is good. Any questions with any of that? Let's get going.